This is the Mazda CX-9. It's a large three-row SUV for people who don't mind sacrificing a little bit of practicality for style and driving fun. Does the fun-to-drive, good-looking Mazda CX-9 still have what it takes to compete in a hot segment half a decade after it debuted? For the most part, Americans hate driving minivans, which is why family-friendly three-row SUVs have exploded. We've always loved and praised the CX-9 because it was the only three-row SUV that was any good to drive. With the second generation CX-9, what Mazda's doing is instead of just focusing on how it drives, they've added a little bit of power and some styling too. So they want to woo a customer who doesn't just want the biggest or the best value proposition. No, they want a buyer who wants to say something with their family hauler. What Mazda's been trying to do with their design language lately is make all of their vehicles more upscale. And I think with the CX-9, they've accomplished their goal. Now, this is a higher spec signature CX-9. If you take a look at this grille, there's not a ton of chrome or bright work on this car, but the stuff that's there has been done very tastefully. The grille, the surrounds, the roof rails, it looks really good. It's not bling bling, it just makes it pop a little bit. Coming down the vehicle, I wish Mazda would make their wheels stick out more. It kind of makes the cars look sporty. However, they've done a great job with chiseling the side. SUVs are kind of blobular, and they've done a nice job with kind of reducing the visual weight of this thing. I really want to call out the D-pillar here. The hardest thing to do in car design is on a sedan, the C-pillar, on an SUV, the D-pillar back here. It's where everything has to come together, and they did it in a very, very tidy way. Mazda is trying to make the CX-9's interior look nicer than it is, and I think they're partially successful. Again, the design is rather good, but if you look real closely at some of the materials, for instance, they make a big deal about having real rosewood, and apparently it is real rosewood, but it's like maybe a millimeter thick veneer over plastic, and if you feel it, you can kind of tell it's plastic. A lot of the stuff that looks like metal, it's actually plastic, so as a result, it's too shiny. But there are some genuinely nice touches, like the quilted leather seats. They look and feel really good. In the top trim signature model, you can get the optional captain's chairs in the rear. Sure, you lose a seat, but the two that remain are heated. As for technology, there's a new 10.3-inch screen. However, it's not a touch screen. Everything is controlled through this rotary dial, which is sort of weird in an age when even your refrigerator is probably a touchscreen at this point. Still, the CX-9 has both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so maybe that point is moot. Overall, in terms of the class, the interior is a little bit smaller than the rest of the competition, and while I do like the way it looks, I would trade a little bit of this style for some more cup holders. The only thing Americans hate more than minivans is station wagons. The only thing we hate more than station wagons is paying for premium gasoline. I mention that because Mazda went to the trouble of putting a high-tech, Skyactiv 2.5-liter turbocharged four-cylinder engine under the hood of the CX-9 that makes 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque if you fill it up with premium. But you're not going to do that. You're going to put regular gas in this car. And that's okay because it makes 227 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. Two things you should know. No matter what grade of gasoline you choose to put into your CX-9, this is the torquiest SUV in its segment. However, because it uses a 6-speed automatic transmission where most of the class has moved on to a 9-speed, the gas mileage is just kind of middle of the pack. If there's one thing you should know about the Mazda CX-9, it's this. In a segment where nobody is thinking about how an SUV drives, Mazda is. And as a result, the CX-9, it's the driver's family car. I mentioned that the CX-9 is a family vehicle. Well, a big part of that is it's an incredibly safe SUV. This thing gets a 5-star crash rating from NHTSA, as well as a 2020 Top Safety Pick Plus rating from IIHS. And what that means is that the CX-9 has a great combination of passive safety as well as a whole bunch of standard active safety features. Let's talk value. The CX-9 actually has a pretty wide price spread. The base model starts just over $35,000, and if you go all the way to the top of the line Signature Edition, it comes in under $48,000. Now that last number might sound high until you realize that the CX-9 is priced just like the competition. So the question becomes, are the attributes that this SUV is emphasizing, fun to drive, style, and a torquey motor, ones that you care about? If so, it's quite a compelling vehicle. In conclusion, the Mazda CX-9 offers what the competition does not, namely style and performance. The question is, what are your priorities? If you want a family SUV that's an alternative to the mainstream, this could be it. For more on cars we love and the latest rankings, check out motortrend.com/cars.